He who has learned to disagree without being disagreeable has discovered the most valuable secret of negotiation. Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. Never rush into a deal without thinking it through. These words aren't just catchy sound bites. They are battle-tested maxims from some of the world's most successful negotiators. Negotiation, a craft where the ultimate goal is simple. Get them to say yes every time. Imagine a chess game where every move is calculated, not against an opponent, but against your own predispositions. Negotiation is much like that game. It's not just about what you say, but how you think, and more importantly, how you make the other person feel. At its core, negotiation is psychological warfare, only without the casualties. It's about subtly shifting the conversation so that saying yes feels less like an obligation and more like a natural outcome. Think of it as creating a narrative where your counterpart's decision to agree is the inevitable conclusion of a well-crafted story. Do like and subscribe, watch this video till the end, and you'll gain mastery in negotiation. In the words of Chris Voss, he who has learned to disagree without being disagreeable has discovered the most valuable secret of negotiation. This isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about setting up an environment where your ideas flow and your counterpart feels understood. It's the art of guiding someone gently to the inevitable conclusion, yes. Let's break down some timeless techniques that transform a conversation into a symphony of agreement. First up, active listening, not just hearing words, but absorbing the emotion, the unspoken concerns, and the underlying motivations. When you listen actively, you're not just gathering data, you're building rapport. When negotiating any deal, you might face a stubborn partner who resists compromise. Instead of pushing back, ask clarifying questions, reflect back their sentiments. This simple act of validation can change the tone of the conversation entirely. The worst thing you can possibly do in a deal is seem desperate to make it. That makes the other guy smell blood, and then you're dead. Always be ready to walk away. Next, framing your proposal. Every idea is more persuasive when framed correctly. Instead of saying, I need you to do this, say, imagine the benefits when you say yes. It's about painting a picture where their affirmative is not only logical, but also emotionally appealing. And then there's the power of silence. In a world filled with constant chatter, a well-timed pause can be revolutionary. It gives your counterpart time to think, reflect, and often fill the silence with concessions. As Richard Branson wisely reminds us, business opportunities are like buses. There's a rhythm, a natural cadence to a well-paced negotiation. When you allow space for reflection, you harness that rhythm. It's in these moments of quiet that the mind reaches for clarity. Now, let's talk about strategic empathy, a term that might sound like corporate jargon, but is in fact the heartbeat of effective negotiation. Strategic empathy is not about agreeing with everything. It's about understanding the other person's perspective so deeply that you can predict their next move. Think back to any great negotiator you've read about. They weren't just savvy, they were empathetic strategists. They knew that every objection, every hesitation was a clue, and by acknowledging these clues, you transform a potential roadblock into a stepping stone towards agreement. Picture a young entrepreneur negotiating with a skeptical investor. Instead of launching into a rehearsed pitch, she spent time uncovering the investor's fears and aspirations. By addressing those head-on, she wasn't just selling her business. She was building a shared vision. That, my friends, is strategic empathy in action. Negotiations rarely go off without a hitch. Obstacles, objections, and downright rejections are par for the course. But here's where the mindset shifts. Instead of seeing these hurdles as failures, view them as opportunities to recalibrate your approach.